we need to run to our fears in life. If you run to your fears, you can obliterate the competition, because there's a good chance that your competitors also have the same fear that you have. For example, if you're fearful of public speaking, I promise you most people are. And if you can learn to master public speaking and enjoy it and turn that weakness into a strength, then you will be much more competitive than your competition will. So run to your fear. So for me, I was terrified of public speaking for years. I was more scared than anybody. I would rather die than give a speech. And so I ran to my fear. And the way I did it was I thought, well, how can I conquer this fear while helping other people as well and feel good about myself? And so what I did was I volunteered with my church, and this is not a religious thing, but I volunteered and I got a police background checked on me, and I went into the prison system. And I met with these poor kids that were 20, 21 years old that had like a deadbeat father. I don't think there's such thing as a deadbeat mother. And these poor kids were just given the wrong hand in life. And they got caught for something that, quite frankly, I could have gotten caught for doing as well if I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Whatever they did, I likely did it as well. And so what I would do is I would go into the prison system and I would just I would counsel them and just kind of talk to them and help them out. And what happened was one Sunday I went and it's during a church service too, whatever, you get up and the priest shows up and whatever, gives mass. And I went one Sunday and the priest didn't show up. And so the warden, when I was going through the security checks, and there's a number of cameras you have to wave to when you go through these radar detectors and stuff, or metal detectors, the warden came up to me and said, Haroun, actually it's Haroun, just kidding, my last name. He said, Father, whatever, the priest isn't there, you're gonna have to conduct mass. And I was like, dude, I can't do that. He was like, it's not hard, man, just read this pamphlet here. I was like, okay, fine. And so what happens is, in a religious setting, and I'll make this generic enough so it applies to lots of religions, you read from the religious text. In this case, it's the gospel, but it could be other texts as well. And then the religious leader or the priest, whatever, would get up and give a speech on what they just read. And so I was reading the stuff, and that was okay. I could do that. I can read in front of other people. And by the way, if you feel nervous when you're in front of other people talking, don't worry, because you don't look nervous. You just feel it. And anyway, I was reading it, and after I read that gospel, and the topic was having confidence and faith. And then I had to give a speech. And I'm like, oh my God, like these priests, they're given a whole week to prepare these speeches. How the heck am I going to think of this on the spot in front of 30 convicts? I shouldn't call them all convicts. A lot of them just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so I got up there, and there's 30 of them. And this was at the McGuire Correctional Facility in Redwood City here, just behind me actually, here in California. And there's 30 of these inmates in orange jumpsuits, and you're not allowed to wear certain colors when you go there as well. Like orange, you can't wear for obvious reasons. You want to, And they're all sitting there. And at first, when I started talking, a lot of them had their arms crossed, and mean looks on their face. Some of them, and I remember one of them had a tattoo that said "F you" right here. And I was terrified. And I looked at them all, and I thought to myself, you know what? F it. Forget about it. That's what F it means, in case my kids are watching. I said, I'm going to conquer this right now. And I said this. I said, do you believe in God? And a bunch of them went, yeah. And I said, does God believe in you? And a lot of them said, yeah. And I said, well, if you don't believe in yourself, then you might have to question your faith. And a lot of their arms uncrossed, whatever, and I could see their eyebrows go up. For me, that was just my strategic inflection point, or whatever you want to call it, my defining moment where it felt good to get up there and just give a speech. And now I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm humbled to say that I've I've turned my biggest weakness into my biggest strength. And so you want to run to your fear. And I have a course on this, but instead of taking my course, take the Dale Carnegie course, because you can do it in person. If you take mine, you do it online. And I want to get you in front of a lot of people. And actually, the Dale Carnegie public speaking course, I took it as well. It's amazing. It makes you comfortable speaking in front of other people. And Warren Buffett, actually, he doesn't have his degree from Columbia University on his wall. He has his Dale Carnegie public speaking certificate on his wall. And you can take it in most cities in the world, Dale Carnegie. And if you don't want to spend the money on the course, what you can do is you can go to meetup.com. That's MEETUP, meetup.com. And this works in every city on the planet. And you can do a search for Toastmasters or public speaking. And you can join these groups close to where you live, everywhere in the world. And you can get in front of other people as well and just practice speeching. See, I can speech real good now. I'm a good speecher. But just run to your fear, and if you can turn that weakness into a strength, you feel like you can accomplish anything, man. And again, your competition won't do this. And if you can get up and inspire people, then it doesn't feel like you have a job. You have a passion. You love what you do. So whatever it is that you're fearful of, public speaking or accounting or finance or I don't know, socializing with other people in certain settings, whatever it might be, I don't know. I want you to run to your fear and embrace it and turn that weakness into a strength. And then you'll see that your competition won't do that, and you'll be much happier because of it. If this was helpful, and only if this was helpful, please click the like button and subscribe. And I will see you mañana. Thank you.